everyone, and welcome to this episode of Executive Insights. Today, I'm joined by David Moise. David is the Technical Talent Director at Decide Consulting, an IT staffing and technical talent consulting company. David's also a member of the Forbes Technology Council, where he's written several articles and he's on panel discussions with the Forbes Technology Council. So, David, thank you for being here with me today.
Happy to be here and hopefully help some people out.
Awesome. Well, before we kick things off, I want to say a shout out to our sponsor, True Diligence. True Diligence has been a leader in background checking services for over 25 years. As you find the right applicants, True Diligence will make sure that they're telling you the right story. Known for their quick turnaround times, accuracy, and superior customer service, True Diligence offers deep industry knowledge with no setup fees, no monthly minimums, and no long-term contracts. You can learn more about True Diligence by checking the box in our podcast description below. So, David, to kick things off with you, where were you and who were you surrounded with, and what inspired you to do what you're doing today?
Oh, gosh. My background is actually as a software developer, which makes me kind of different in this whole recruiting talent marketplace. Most people don't have that technical background. I was a software developer, good at what I did, went off on my own, was a contract programmer for many years, had some projects where I got to bring some other people in. And there was just a point in time when the phone rang, it was a lot more for, I need another programmer or a cloud engineer, a network engineer, as opposed to I have a project. And I just started listening to the marketplace and we started doing more recruiting than software projects.
That's awesome. And you and I have a similar background. You were with I was with Accenture and you were with Anderson Consulting, correct?
Yes, I was. So yeah, before they changed their name.
Exactly. I went in, I started right when it changed. So I understand that market. So hiring today, the right talent, just to meet company demand, and retaining that talent is an extremely complex environment today. So how would you advise our audience and technology companies and our listeners on hiring decisions today?
I mean, hiring today, it's just different than it was 2 years, 3 years, 5 years ago, and even, more different from before. The skills that we're looking for are more and more specialized. It used to be, if you could find a software developer and just to kind of pick a tech skill set with C#, .NET, ASP.NET, and SQL, a lot of opportunities for someone who just put that on their resume. Now, that's not enough. And you have to start talking about JavaScript and what versions or what frameworks within JavaScript, Angular, React, Vue, to name a few. What cloud techniques are you using? NoSQL databases, how you're going about doing the APIs. The way I describe it, if you were to go into a cafeteria, it used to be 25 options and you had to pick 8. Now there's 75 and you have to pick 27. So people are much more specialized in what they do. Remotes obviously had a thing that's come into play here. The more hot a person's skills are, the more likely they are to want just pure remote work. Companies have to accommodate to that to some degree. There's some shifts happening right now. We'll see where that winds up. But if you have the technology skills, you're in demand. There's no shortage of companies that are looking for you. Demand is exceeding supply. I've written before about how I'm expecting the software and IT skills or IT jobs to double within 10 years. I first started saying that in 2017, and in 2022, we're on pace. Demand for IT and technology skills is only going in one direction, and it's going to continue on that way.
Well, and I appreciate that Decide Consulting's founders are developers. So you guys can find your like-minded people and problem solvers for your clients.
It just allows us to have different conversations with clients and candidates. So,
Awesome. So what would you say are your top 3 success secrets based on your experiences that others can model from?
So if you're a company and you're looking to hire, you really need to focus on the who and the what. And when I say that, the what is, are we looking for a certain technology match? People with these skill sets, we kind of talked about that a little bit as well. But also, let's not ignore the who. I get frustrated. I've seen people turn down a candidate because, oh, they've only worked with Angular 7 and we're using Angular version 8, but they're a great person. And what technology, what skills, what's the tech stack going to look like in 5 years? You want to hire people who are going to be able to learn that. And that's when you kind of focus on the who, how do those individuals match up with the company core values? So focus on that. Move fast when you're hiring. If you're taking 4 or 5 weeks to bring in somebody, your competition is hiring them before that. You can bring that down to a 2-3 week cycle when you're hiring, you're going to get more good people coming into your company. And that hurts because you're taking 4 weeks, you've invested time, you invested resources, you can't get that back when you reach out to them and they say, I found another job. The last one I would say is, one of my favorite phrases, there's always a way, there's always a better way. Just a thought process about continuous improvement. Yeah, we can find a way to do this and make it work. Okay, now that we've done that, what's a better way that we can do it? And that applies actually to software development when I came up with that phrase, when I first started saying it, to what we're doing in recruiting and how we're going about finding prospects and candidates. Continuous improvement, there's always a better way.
Well, and you wrote a great article that I loved about how to develop from within. So not only can you find that right talent at Decide Consulting, but then you can consult with the client on like looking at someone who may have just about everything, but how to develop them from within the company and help them to grow. So I really appreciated that article.
Yeah, thank you. So
awesome.
I think for companies who are capable of doing it, I mentioned before, supply is not keeping up with demand. Companies who have the resources, take a look at alternative recruiting sources. It's one thing to use outsource recruiters like ourselves, but boot camp programs that are out there, there's a ton of great programs. I'm just going to pitch one called Launch Code, where they actually put people through training for about a year, and they're grabbing from people who didn't go through a 4-year program. So really, if you have DEI goals within your company, this is a great resource to find them. And it's a bridge between someone who went to a boot camp and someone who went to a 4-year school. Great people coming out of these places. And if you're looking to hire 25, 50, 100 people, you got to look at places like this.
That's a great solution. That's a great word of advice for sure. Well, what would you say would be the top 3 mistakes to avoid based on the things that you've seen and encountered in your career?
So when it comes to hiring people, mistakes I see, too often it's treating the tech people like they're a commodity. I just need someone who can come in and code this stuff. Not all people are created equal. And if you're doing that, it's also coming across into the second one. We need to invest in people, and you need to invest in technology. Give people a reason to want to come to your company. Give people a reason to want to stay once they get there. And if you're investing in technology and investing in training them to use that technology, that is a great motivator for people to stick around. If I can learn a new skill, I can do something here, it's good. For technology people, skills, certifications are currency. And the more that they can have, the more value they feel that they have in the marketplace, and they'll stick at a place for a while longer if they're using and they feel like they are incrementing their skills and can learn some new things. The last thing is on the other side, companies that are ignoring technology. The president of Microsoft made a great comment. Every company is becoming a software company. And we see this becoming more and more true. I'm just going to look at the most mom and pop type of business you can think of, and just imagine a restaurant, a local restaurant, or 2 restaurants side by side, both had good food, both had nice service and were clean. If one embraced technology, meaning that they were doing social media, they're engaged with the food delivery services, you could pull up to the place and text where your parking number was and the food showed up, versus one that was not doing that, who survived? Every company is a software company. Every company is a technology company. You have to embrace some form of technology. That doesn't mean you have to go out and start developing apps, but maybe you're going to look at a low-code, no-code tool just to make things more efficient and automate things and get data from here and bring it over to there. Ton of ways of going about and doing that.
Wow. Yeah, it really has shifted in that way. And I know that gives you lots of opportunity to help people more and more because the need for technology talent is extreme in every
Yeah.
area. So what would you say? And this was a rich conversation. This was exactly what our listeners needed to hear today. So, what are some of the best ways for people to get in touch with you? And we can put all of your information at the bottom of our description. But how can people get in touch with you?
LinkedIn is a great place. I'm checking that every day and always reaching out to plenty of people myself and finding them. Google David Moise Forbes. You see all my articles that are written out there at DC Moise on Twitter, and I'll look at that as well. But reaching out to LinkedIn is the best way to find me.
Okay, great. So, any final words of advice for our audience today, David?
Yeah, technology is going to impact your business. Adapt or die. So I hate to be so blunt, but it's going to be in there. And maybe it's just doing something small. Maybe it's doing something a little bit larger. You have to invest in technology, which means you have to invest with people that use the technology. Some companies that may be smaller. It could be smaller steps. But if you're larger, how do I get the right type of technology people here who can help me grow for the next 10 years?
Awesome. Well, this was a great conversation. I'm so thankful that you joined us today on the Executive Insights podcast, and we'd love to have you come back another time.
My pleasure. Enjoyed it.
All right. Take care. Have a great day.
All
Thank you
right. Thank
guys for
you.
joining us. Take care.